Welcome, race fans, to No Limits Texas Motor Speedway here tonight for the Monday Night Cup Series. Of course, I am your host, Charles Wooten. Alongside me is Greg Rentz here tonight. We'll see if Joe shows up here in just a little bit. But regardless of that, it is just about time for qualifying. Just under 3 minutes left, and a huge field here tonight, Greg. 29 drivers have already made their way into practice, and we could see 30-plus cars here tonight.
A Texas two-step here today, Cody. We've got two separate cup races at Texas Motor Speedway on LSR TV tonight. This is the first one, the World of Thunder Monday Night Cup Series, and 167 laps is the distance tonight. And like you mentioned, a big field of cars, 29 strong so far, and we're still expecting a couple more to show up here as practice comes to an end. Qualifying up next for 10 minutes. They will get 2 laps of qualifying, so a big field perhaps coming up here at Texas for 167 laps. And on top of the charts is Cole Duggar in the number 11. He's the only driver to get into the 28-2 second bracket here so far today.
Yeah, as he is, as we'll throw those best times up onto the screen for you. They're a little bit behind him by 0.09. That is going to be a 28.340 by Gary Peck. So we'll see. And of course, a new driver. Well, technically not new, but Devin Lockridge. He's a new driver to the Outlaw Motorsports team, which of course is in conjunction with an LSR TV team as well. So some new teammates coming to join that stable. Definitely going to be a good race. You can't ask for more than a huge 30-car field when you come. And I think actually 30 may be the limit that they take here. I'm not sure on that. We'll have to clarify that later on in the season. But a 30-car field when it's a no-limit Texas, everything's bigger in Texas. And what better way to kick off a Monday than a doubleheader at Texas Motor Speedway? As you can see, the Speedway Club there. Again, I couldn't ask for better. Of course, I'm a little biased, Greg, Texas being my home track.
Yeah, just a little bit, but you can't really ask for a much better facility to call your home track there, because No Limits Texas Motor Speedway, one of the most historic venues in NASCAR, and that's saying something considering it's also one of the youngest venues in NASCAR as it pertains to some of the other tracks that the NASCAR series goes to and all these other beautiful iRacing series that we have. Texas is one of the newer tracks in the world, opening in 1997 was the site of the first race here. Compared to some of the tracks that we go to both on iRacing and in real life, one of the younger tracks here, but it has turned into one of the premier venues, and that is a great shout to the staff at this facility, the 1.5 mile oval, and the reconfiguration that we saw at this track a couple of years ago has really added a new fold into the mix here, because it makes it a lot more difficult, especially with tire wear here at this track. You really have to save that right front tire here with this new configuration.
Yeah, you definitely do. As qualifying is officially started, I don't see anyone out on the track right now. I do believe they are in a driver's meeting at the moment. Those pits almost full here. And, one thing I absolutely love, especially in the trying times that we're in right now, the pride of the American pride that is this track. Red, white, and blue. The new walls look absolutely amazing. We do have one car coming on to the track. That's going to be the 18 of Braden Black in that number 18 M&M's machine. That the 18, of course, you know who it is in real life. Love him or hate him, you got to respect the guy for the talent he has. And right now, that is going to be Black that's out on track.
Yeah, Black in the number 18, one of the premier paint schemes in NASCAR. The number 18 M&M's Toyota Camry on deck. Haven't seen many other cars out there. I see another one coming out, a UPS Toyota driven by Cody McKnight in the 111 coming out right now. So a couple drivers now beginning to take time as Braden Black has hit the wall off of turn number 2. And just like that, the M&M's are suddenly mashed here on the backstretch. He's going to have to try it again on lap number number 1. The good news is he does have one more shot at lap number 2, but he will not get a time for lap number 1, as there we see the 1:11 of Cody McKnight on track. And so far, the first driver has taken time. It's the Black Rifle Coffee Chevy Camaro with Nintendo Switch also on board. Brent Fair, is that how you say it? I'm new to the series, so
yeah, that is correct, and we're getting those paints loaded in here. But Fair gonna be faring well, but not as well as he thought. Is Devin Lockridge gonna take it to the top with a 28.977, and just like that, who was fastest in practice, Cole Duggar, back at the top with a 28.62, a blistering fast 28-second lap.
Touch of pink on the car, and it is flying right now here. The Toyota Camry showing a lot of speed here, but just like that, he gets knocked to second, now third. Lockridge goes up to the top as well after Eric Tupper came in there, but Cole Duggar with the second lap gets it back, 28.367. Not quite as fast as his practice time, but after Lockridge and Tupper are able to knock him off, and he is able to get back on top. But Tupper is coming around to complete lap number 2 right now. He's going to cross the strike. We'll see where he winds up. Top of the board, 28.299. First driver to go a 2 in qualifying today, and he was middle of the pack in practice. He was sitting 6th in practice, 28.299. Top of the board so far for Tupper as the times continue to tick in.
And Jared Mogart, everybody knows that name, as he is right now in that 0-0, 6th fastest on track with a 28.81. Those checkered board pattern on the roof of that car, they worked out very well for him last week. The question is, will they benefit him tonight in any way? They were his good luck charm going into last week's race. We'll see if they have the same powers they do. And speaking of powers, Jesse Powers, fourth fastest, with a 28.52. Again, a huge field here. One driver just coming out. We'll be talking to him and possibly some other drivers throughout the night. That is Will Duvall in that number 13, the leader of that Outlaw Motorsports teams.
And Will Duvall, of course, a proud member of Team LSR TV as well. So got a lot of things going on here. And talking about Jared Mogart, going back to him for just a second here, I actually got to call him a couple of times in another series last year, so good to have him back here where I can see him as qualifying continuing here. Looks like most of the field has taken time now, as Eric Tupper still sitting on top of the charts, but still got plenty of time to go, and several drivers showing a lot of speed, but still Eric Tupper on top of the board, only 28.299. The only driver in the 28.2 second bracket here right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that he is the only one there. Of course, and only I'll say a couple in the low 28s, couple in the mids and highs as well. It's Boyd Hogan out there in the number 96, put on a good run last week. We'll see if he can do it. And there you see right there, I talked about him, and he runs a 28.22. So, I don't know, did we jinx Tupper or did we help Hogan, as now he's only the second driver to run a 28.2.
And he's the fastest car in town, because that's the fastest lap we've seen all day, practice or qualifying, 28.224. So Boyd Hogan, big lap there for him to get that top spot, as I believe we only have 3 drivers left who have not taken time. None of them have rolled out on track yet. We're talking about Nathan Nicholson, Ted Emizer, I'm still learning these names.
Emenizer, is that one?
Emenizer, I butchered the heck out of that one. Apologize for that. And then Robert Carroll, the other driver who has not gone out. So 3 drivers yet to go here. And Boyd Hogan, great lap there, 28.224. Qualifying just about wrapping up, and this is going to be quite the show here, Charles, for this race, because it is going to be wild. 167 laps, pretty long race here for iRacing standards, but should be a good one. And talking with Will Duvall, who's down on pit road with us. He is expecting at least 2 pit stops for the course of the race. 5 sets of tires the limit here tonight, so these drivers will have the set of tires they start on, and they will have 4 sets of tires in the pits ready to go. So pit strategy could very much come into play here tonight.
It very well could, and we'll see what drivers are available, as they're going to have a little bit of different thing here, Greg, that they do. I'm not sure if you got to take a look at last week's broadcast, but they are going to have I believe it's 15 is what's on the thing. We might shorten that a little bit, but they have a little bit of a warm-up session here. Typically, what you would see in dirt track racing, you get that little warm-up. They do that in this series, and all these cars go out on the track, and, they watch them, and they check for anybody having connection issues, anything like that. And if it's too bad, they will park that driver and not let them race. I didn't see too many issues in practice, but it's a cool little feature here that they do to just kind of check these guys out, check their connection, let them kind of shake out the car a little bit, make sure all their steering wheels are hooked in good. We don't want any stray cats running around or anything like that. It's a good time to check for all that.
Yeah, and the dirt track series based on iRacing World of Thunder is they are dipping their feet into the asphalt realm here with this Monday Night Cup series. So bringing some of that dirt track format over here with that warm-up. So very interesting little addition here to this, and it's fun to see it in the Cup cars as qualifying just about wrapped up. And one of those drivers has gone out on track now. Robert Carroll, the 23, is just completing his second lap. 29.292 was the first lap, and I do not believe he's going to get a time. Yes, he did. I thought he caught the wall off turn number 4. Not so fast. He just barely kept it off. 28.947. So middle of the pack as he brings the number 23 to a slide into the wall down in turn number 2, but he was able to get back out there. That leaves just Emmenizer and Nicholson as the drivers who have yet to qualify, with about a minute and a half left in qualifying time. So I don't think they're going to get out there, because if they haven't gotten out by now, they're not going to get a lap in.
Yeah, they just don't have the time to get that lap in. Of course, so once that warm-up starts, we do have a couple of drivers we're going to talk to, hear their thoughts on the race, how they expect it to go. Of course, you can't very well see inside their brains, but we're going to pick their brains and see what we can figure out about this track, what they think the race is going to go like. Greg, you've been here before. I've been here before. What are you expecting? You think we'll see quite a few cautions, or is this a track that's kind of self-cleaning? They'll get out of the way, and we could potentially go caution-free here tonight.
Honestly, depends on how the first few laps of the race go, Charles, because we've seen this race have long green flag runs, and we've seen this race have caution breeds cautions. It all depends, I'm going to say, on how the first 20 or so laps go. If we can get a good 20-lap run in and things can get settled in, and we click some laps away, I think we'll be sitting pretty for some long green flag runs. But if we have a couple cautions in those first 20 laps, it could be a long night here on LSR TV.
It very well could be. And of course, time running out. 20 seconds left on the clock before your warm-up session here. So we're going to step aside real fast and make sure we pay tribute and thank the sponsors that make it all possible here on LSR TV. So we will be right back here in just a few moments after we thank the sponsors.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. You can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customers. So you can just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. And if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
Getting ready for round number 5 of the Monday Night Cup Series World of Thunder. It is at Texas. It's all part of Monday Night Cup Series action this Monday evening on LSR TV. Coming up now, the World of Thunder is later tonight will be the Northwestern Cup Series. I'm Wesley Outland, the voice of the Monday Night Cup Series for the World of Thunder. Joined alongside Greg Rent. Greg, first off, did you have a nice wedding?
Wedding? I was at a race.
Oh, you were at a race?
Yeah, I've got a wedding on Wednesday that I'm going to, but Saturday was for the racetrack. We were up at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, big race up there, and it was a fun one. But we're here at Texas for a doubleheader here tonight.
Yes, sir. Definitely going to be a good one. This series is definitely picking up in momentum, personality. We've got Jared Mogart, of course, coming off of a win last weekend, and our last Monday, if you will, and now we're going to see what happens. Drivers get ready to go with the end of their warm-up sessions, and then we will have a feature. Now, this warm-up, if you will, as qualifying has concluded, is an opportunity, Greg, to see if there's any guys lagging, any internet issues, if they have any problems. This right now in this session will give them the opportunity to find that out before we go 250 miles this evening at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, chance for them to dial in any connection issues they may be having, make sure everything is good on their end, and they'll be set to go. 167 laps, 200 miles, or 250 miles, like you mentioned. It's a long race here tonight at No Limits, Texas. 167 laps, of course, the distance, so they want to make sure that their internet connection is solid and stable before we get set to go. Long race on deck, and don't want any situations to happen before something like something like this happens. So we'll see how it goes for this one. Boyd Hogan, who was on top of the charts in practice, has yet to go out there for this warm-up session. So haven't seen your upcoming pole sitter out there yet. Eric Tupper, Cole Duggar, Gary Peck, Devin Lockridge will be your top 5 for this one. They are all out on the track right now. And not only is this warm-up allowing them a shot to make sure the internet's dialed, it's also giving them a few extra laps on the setup. So it's giving them a good chance to figure out what they want to do and how to drive their car. 167 laps coming up. It's going to be quite the interesting race to watch them all go down.
Mogart right now, the man at the top of the board, followed by Powers, Buchanan, Lockridge, those drivers getting ready to go here into position for this event. It is, again, Texas at round 5 of the Monday Night Cup Series for the World of Thunder. The World of Thunder coming off of a spectacular program last night. I mean, it was almost close to 40,000 views and still climbing for the 4 dirt broadcasts. And again, Joe Panino and the folks that are behind World of Thunder decided they wanted to create a pavement racing series. It was almost close to 40. This is it. So, again, Mogart looking to try to be the man cast, and again, also double down shades of what the winner at Charlotte is trying to do. And I don't even see him here tonight. Looks like he did not even show up, Hogan. So Hogan was trying to go for 2 in a row last week and came up short, and there was a little controversy there with Hogan and Brett Rowles, the Daytona winner. Again, cooler heads prevailed, and they've worked out what they've had now. So our in-race reporter is Will Duvall. Will Duvall out of Morgantown, West Virginia. He's going to be joining us throughout the time of the broadcast. And Will, how's Texas looking here tonight, Cowboy?
It's looking good. Pretty quick track. Feels good. Got us some new setups going for our team, so we're feeling pretty comfortable, pretty confident for our team here tonight.
Ready to go for sure. Again, it's going to be 250 miles, 167 laps. And let's be honest here, it could go by in a hurry, or it could be a caution fest here, Will. What do you think?
I shudder to say it, and I shudder to think it, but I have a feeling it's gonna follow the trend that we've had all season long. We're gonna have quite a few cautions early on, and then it'll fill out to a green flag run halfway through the race towards the end.
All right, that's our in-race reporter for LSR TV. Again, that's the driver out of Morgantown, West Virginia, Will Duvall. We'll holler at you here in a little bit.
Certainly.
Will Duvall, again, Greg, and that we will be talking to inside the car, as we've got just about under a minute remaining here in this warm-up session. And again, as I said, Greg, this has been a pretty unique Cup Series for the last couple of weeks for sure. And we're going to see what happens here tonight. I think we've had like 4 different winners of the 5 events so far this year.
Very competitive series as well, and this series was initiated to kind of form a bridge between the dirt racers and the pavement racers and try to get some more dirt racers over to the pavement side, and at the same time introduce some of the well-renowned asphalt racers on the iRacing server, such as Jared Mogart, who's on top of the charts, winner last week, of course, to make the transition perhaps to dirt and get used to racing with some of these guys before making that transition. And that's why World of Thunder is one of the top leagues on iRacing, one of the biggest memberships in iRacing, over 1,000 registered members in World of Thunder. So that is giving them a huge opportunity here to really bridge the gap between dirt and pavement and get some really cool stuff going here. Who knows what the future holds if this series goes well.
Well, that being said, warm-ups are officially books. The field is about to get assembled here, and we are about to go racing. The starting lineup, Texas 250 this evening here at the Texas Motor Speedway for the Monday Night Cup Series round number 5. Ready to go again. The distance 250 miles. Again, 167 laps as the field is set. Let's give you your starting lineup on the pole. Boyd Hogan of the 96 out of Canada. And again, he is here. So late arrival. He just didn't go out for warm-ups, but he's here. To the outside, Eric Tupper in the 15. Cole Duggar in 11. Gary Peck in the 511. There's your first 2 rows.
Starting it off in row number 3 will be the 017 of Devin Lockridge. Doesn't have it on, but he is a member of Team Outlaw Racing, which is a Team LSR TV affiliate. He rolls off 5th. Jesse Powers to his outside. Stephen Buchanan rolls off in the 7th position with Travis Daly in 8th. Rounding out the top 10 will be Landon Austin and should be Jared Mogart in the 00.
Well, it says Will Duvall is actually the man that'll be starting 10th, but we'll find out. In row number 6 will be Jared Mogart. 11th, Trey Schmidt, Old Schmidt. He's also dirt racers. These are dirt racers we were talking about. Now 11th and 12th. Moving on to row number 13, or row number 7, if you will, for 13th and 14th, Jesse Pate, Jaden Kraus. Row number 8, AJ Cruz, Brett, the Daytona winner for the inaugural race of the World of Thunder Monday Night. Robert Carroll in 23, Anthony Hansen in row number 9, and row Brent Fier, the 013, and Cody McDonald, the 111, and the rest of the starting lineup there, Greg, as we get ready for 29 cars to come to green.
Another M&M's Camry, number 28 on the screen, or on the ticker, but there's a number 18 M&M's Camry being driven by Chad Adams tonight, rolling off 21st. 22nd will be Donnie Fair on the ticker, number 19, Nick King in the 43, and John Ruby, who's been having connection issues a couple of times today, rolls off 24th in the number 8. The 556 is Brad Abel, Braden Black in the other M&M's Camry with Cody Gatsky, the final car to take time. Ted Emmenizer and Nathan Nicholson rounding out the field, and it does not look like Nicholson made the call. Emmenizer did, so that is your starting lineup, 28 strong it looks like for this race here tonight. Wesley, 167 laps coming up here.
Coming through the double dog leg, green is in the air, it's time to kick some asphalt in Texas for round 5. Opening laps, and it's going to be Mr. Hogan out in front there to get things kicked off. Duggan in the number 2 spot, Buchanan in 3rd. Caution. We're ready here at Texas, and there you go. The caution is out first time. The yellow waves here. Let's see what happened to Big Hoss on the 1.5 mile here at Texas. We'll get a look at the replay.
And you look deep in the field. Ooh,
oh, wow.
Contact there. I believe that was the 8 of John Ruby, and that may have been the 43 of Nick King that was caught up in that. Ruby getting the worst of that. A lot of damage to the nose of his Chevy Camaro. Just some contact.
So under caution here. Under caution, getting things kicked off here. It's Greg, do you come to pit road early?
No, I wouldn't come to pit road early, but who was that? That was nosed into the wall there in, I believe, turn number 3. Saw another car sitting there nosed into the wall as we were watching Ruby. Couldn't see who it was.
Let's see it again. We'll check it out here. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's the 556 entry.
Brad Abel in the number 556 has a lot of damage to the front of that one. So just a couple laps into this one, Wesley, and doesn't look like anyone's coming down this early, but only 5 sets of tires for the race. You got 4 sets of tires on pit road that you can use throughout the course of the race. But 167 laps, you're going to want to babysit those tires as long as possible.
Underway in the early going here at Texas in the Big Hoss 250. More coverage of the Monday Night Cup Series here home for Sim Racing LSR TV when we return. Back here at Texas Motor Speedway, getting ready to go back for the resumption of the Big Hoss 250. And again, having an early caution flag. And Greg, we have seen this transition happen for the Monday Night Cup Series since Daytona. Since this series started, we dropped the green, and it seems like within 2 or 3 laps we have a caution.
And that's probably a product of drivers who are used to dirt racing, getting their feet wet in the world of asphalt. And when you're putting them on these big tracks in these cup cars, the premier cars for pavement racing, if you want to go big in the cup cars, this is the series that you're going to be doing it. And so guys with a lot of dirt track experience, not a lot of pavement experience, it's showing that these things are a little bit different than what they're used to here.
Again, the driver, Mr. Jared Mogart, out for the win last week, and a performance he put on as we're efforting the green flag to come out here this time by to get things back underway. 167 laps the distance, as again we are still cycling under the caution.
Lights are out on the pace car though, Wesley. So we will be back to green flag racing here next time by, as the field getting set to go green here. Boyd Hogan choosing the outside for this restart, Wesley, as they come down off of turn number 2, getting set to go. And when you take the outside and you try to get that big shot here, what kind of advantage does that serve up top?
Greg, I'm not sure, but we're having a little bit of a sound issue here on my side, so hopefully I can get this thing resolved real quickly. Just take over for just a quick moment.
All right, coming to a green here. Boyd Hogan going to start on the outside, hoping that the momentum can carry him through here. And the number 96, he's got Cole Duggar to his outside. Buchanan and Tupper making up the second row. So we get set to go. Green flag in the air, and a big start there out of Boyd Hogan in the 96 to get out to the lead. And he's going to have him clear by a few car lanes as he shoots down into turn number 1 all by himself. Cole Duggar going to try to line it up in second position, side by side there, as the number 115 of Tupper falls in behind Buchanan. So move Buchanan into the third spot here for this first lap of green flag run, working lap number 9 of 167 here tonight. Battle for second breaking out between Buchanan and Duggar, as Boyd Hogan's lead is about 0.4 of a second. Back to this battle as Buchanan gets the lead out there. Boyd Hogan in the 96 leading the way, side by side for third now between Tupper and Duggar. Riding in fifth is last week's winner, Jared Mogart. Contact! One car shooting up towards the wall. It was Travis Dowley. We stay green. Contact, I believe, with Jesse Powers. Yes, shot the purple number 15 of Travis Dowley up to the wall. We stay green. But a nice save for both of them. We'll see if we have a look at what happened here on the LSR TV replay as things settle down. But a big moment there for two drivers in the top 3. You see Powers settling down. Dowley back there as well. That was a side-by-side for 5th position. As they start coming back here, believe this is the other purple car. One car off the pace going on the pit road. Didn't catch a number there as they soared by at the last second. Robert Carroll, the other purple car up there, has gotten around both of these guys. Meanwhile, up front, Boyd Hogan is still pulling away. Buchanan in the 29 leading the way, but Mogart up to third as he's gotten around both Duggar and Tupper, trying to track down now the 29 and the 96. Mogart already up 8 positions from the start of the race after starting in 11th up to 30 is the biggest mover so far.
And Greg, I'll jump in here real quick while we have Wesley down for the foreseeable future here. It's a long trip from the production booth to the broadcast booth, but Nevertheless, some good battling going on, and there's a junkyard right as I come into the booth.
Well, we got a big mess in the backstretch. Let's see what we've got here going on. Who is that on the backstretch here? We're taking a look at the LSR TV replay in the field.
Landon Austin was involved in the number 33, and a pretty violent wreck there on the backstretch. As we can take another look at this from the blimp view here.
Here you see 3 wide. Oh, I'm thinking 4 wide, and that just don't work here. And you see a couple cars nose in the wall. That, I believe, was the second incident in as many laps for Powers, as he has had not the ideal start, as he was up in the top 5 just before this. Had the issue there with Dally and made it a couple laps, and then nosed into the wall again. So tough one here for the mellow yellow number 32.
Yeah,
and I believe that we're back live.
We are, and I'm beginning to think here, Greg, maybe that 32 machine of Jesse Powers, maybe if he changed his name to Mellow Green, we'd stay green, because Mellow Yellow bringing out a couple of the yellows here tonight.
Hey, perhaps maybe we'll have to message our friends at Coca-Cola and see if they can come out with a product called Mellow Green to kind of follow up with that. Or, if it was me, I would just petition to bring back Vault. But that's just one person's opinion. Under caution for the second time today here at Texas Motor Speedway. Working lap number 15, 14 in the books, and they have all been led by the 96 of Boyd Hogan, with Stephen Buchanan in third position. Jared Mogart climbing through the field in fourth. Good qualifying effort for Eric Tupper, and it's been a solid run for him thus far here. Charles up in the fourth position, been in the top 5 all day, with Cole Duggar, who was up on the front row for that restart, falling back to 5th.
And, you've got to ask yourself this right now is, if you have damage, you're going to want to come in and get what you can repaired. But do you take a set of tires while you're in there getting that damage repaired, or do you just come in for fuel and damage and leave those tires on there, or do you sacrifice a set of tires and go ahead and put them on?
You have 4 tires sitting on pit road, so the way the race has started, and with the flat spots, no doubt, on the tires from the incident, it's worth taking a set of tires here at this stage of the race, Charles, because you have these drivers who have flat spotted the tires. They've been in the wall a couple of times. It's been a rough one, but you have 4 sets of tires here, and our in-race reporter, Will Duvall, mentioned something about he was expecting 2 tires or 2 pit stops to be able to go solidly, but you got those 2 extra sets of tires in case you need them, and I think if you're in a situation like that, you might as well use them.
Yeah, I definitely think you could, or you should use them. We were talking a little bit earlier, as I don't see too many people coming down. The ones that were coming down involved in the caution, so we won't focus on them too much here at the moment. But we're talking about this state-of-the-art facility. And iRacing, I want to mention them real quick. Of course, we'll talk about how to get into iRacing, but I absolutely love the yellow on the fence now. A lot of tracks are starting to go to that. I've seen it at some dirt tracks now, too, where they actually have, like, LEDs on the fence. That is probably one of the coolest things, probably since sliced bread.
And it was Texas, this track right here, that started that movement there, and it's becoming one of the coolest things about it. And no doubt the drivers have no problem seeing if the yellow lights come on here at this track. You won't see any, I didn't know the caution was on from any of drivers at this racetrack, because you've got those things spread. And it's not just in one particular spot. It is spread throughout the entire 1.5-mile racing surface.
Yeah, it definitely is. Always good to see new innovations coming out in the racing world. Hogan's still out front. The lights are on at the moment. And as you can see, nobody attempting to come down right now. Your top, I believe it's 10 drivers exactly. 11 drivers have not come down. Before you find the first driver that has come down, and that, of course, was the first person involved in an incident, and that is going to be the 8 car, as it's 3 actually on the car, of John Ruby, and they're going to get double filed. He's still plus 12 spots to the good right now, even after having that incident to bring out the first caution.
using that fast repair. One fast repair allowed in this series, so he has used that reset. No doubt, when you have one of those, you don't want to use it on lap number 2 like he had to do there, but tough break. But showing you just how much a new car means, especially when you have incidents like that and you got cars kind of beating and banging in the early stages, and using those tires, that fast repair is basically starting from scratch. So showing how much speed you can gain in a fast repair, but hopefully he's able to keep that thing clean for the remainder of this race.
Yeah, definitely. We're hoping he can. He's hoping he can as well. And real fast, we do want to, of course, excuse me, thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Of course, on a Monday night, there's a lot of things you could do or be doing here, especially relaxing from a day back at work, assuming hopefully you're at work now, as some of the country is starting to open back up. I definitely know it's not fun being out of work, so it's Greg. It's one of those things you complain and moan about having to go to work, and then when you don't have it, you complain that you don't have it.
I was enjoying it for about the first week and a half. I was like, hey, this isn't bad. Sit at home, play on iRacing till 2 in the morning. Then after about a week and a half, I was starting to get antsy. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get back to work. We're going on about 4 months now at my job. I'm finally able to come in and work morning shift and get back to work, but I'm done at like 11:30, so I still have all afternoon to come and do this here on the evenings, and that's why I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been presented here on LSR TV and other channels on the iRacing server to be able to do this. But like you mentioned, it's fun being able to get back to work and be able to get some normalcy back slowly but surely, and hopefully it won't be too long before we start having that. And I saw one car blinking, and it's a driver up in the top 10. Who is that blinking? Third row,
I believe,
or fourth
yes,
row inside.
Gary Peck, and that's 5'11", I believe it is. His connection is not sitting well with him right now, so again, admins will remove you or ask you to leave if that connection does not, kind of
he
fix itself.
He has been given an EOL penalty.
There you have it, and they don't play around with that kind of thing. That is a danger to everybody's race out here. And well, the back of the field's the safest place for you when you're blinking, as especially right now as we're coming to take the green flag one more time for the restart here to start lap number 19. As I don't know who that was. That was Jared Mogart. He just clipped the grass and got way loose, and they're going to try to go 4 wide on the restart.
And he's still kind of struggling. He may have clipped the apron again. Notice this time, Charles, Boyd Hogan took the inside when he took the outside last time. Not able to get as good a jump on this restart as Buchanan hung right in there with him. Mogart is able to settle it down and settle into the 3rd position. I've called Jared Mogart a couple of times in not other series throughout there. I'm happy to see him back out here and running in the 3rd spot right. It's a good battle up front between Hogan and Buchanan right now. That's for the race lead.
Yeah, and you have to remember a lot of these guys, I say a lot of them, there's 2 distinct ways people got into dirt racing. They either, one, were already on here and they know asphalt a little bit because it's all they had. And they weren't the greatest, but they wanted to do it. Or a lot of people just came right to iRacing. They said, dirt's coming, it's not April Fool's anymore. And people flocked to iRacing for dirt. And some of those guys are in here, like Mogart, as the caution flag waves once again, just 3 laps later. And it's going to be Chad Adams involved in this one. So we'll have to take a look and see what happened to the number 28 machine, actually 18. And some contact there, and then more contact with the inside and outside wall.
I believe that's the M&M's Fudge Toyota Camry that hit the wall. Some contact there. Didn't catch who that was that he connected with. We'll see if we can take another look and perhaps get a number on that. Here we go. LSR TV replay, and just a bobble. And unfortunately, these cars are so aero-sensitive, Charles, that just the slightest touch like that can send you around like that. And all of a sudden, Chad Adams learning that the hard way here with these Cup cars.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, I don't know if anybody's seen the commercial. It's a relatively newer commercial, I do believe, about how do they get the fudge in the M&Ms, the fudge brownie. That's how right there. You put it on the nose of the car and just ram it into the wall at Texas.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, Wesley is back joining us, makes it in just in time for Charles to explain the method of releasing those fudge M&Ms. Under caution for the third time here today, Wesley. Haven't missed much in terms of the lead. Boyd Hogan has led every lap thus far, but he's got a new challenger up in the second position. Steve Buchanan, who started seventh, has worked his way into second. Jared Mogart is up to third, but he's had a little bit of an incident on that last restart there, so he's going to have a chance here to reset, but not the restart he wanted. Boyd Hogan has led all 21 laps thus far.
Yeah, Hogan is still the man out in front that won in Charlotte and came pretty close to winning here. Phoenix last Monday night is currently now the man out in front at Texas Motor Speedway. The race is on. As I'm sorry, guys, I had a little internet issue, and I continue to have issues, and I'm exhausted with it. Can definitely tell you I am, hoping to get this thing fixed. Anyhow, I'll ride this out as long as I can. Hang in there with you. Boyd Hogan, again, the man leading the way. Stephen Buchanan in the number 2 spot. Jared Mogart, winner last heard. Followed by Eric Tupper Cole, currently your top 5. So, we're under yellow flag. We'll come back with more in a moment from Texas. This is the Monday Night Cup Series featuring Thunder on LSR TV. back here at Texas Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to bow out of the broadcast under this event, having some technical issues, weather in the area, and it is not in the best idea for me to be broadcasting right now. Network connectivity issues. LSR TV certified as they are the leader in sim racing, the home of sim racing. Greg Rentz, Charles Wooten, I hope you're feeling better, my friend, from yesterday. You guys are going to call this race and take it home. I'll be back on pit tonight for the Northwest Racing Cup Series.
All right, getting set to go green, and of course we hope Wesley gets those connection issues fixed as soon as possible to get him back up here in the tower. But Charles, we're coming back to green flag racing. Boyd Hogan gonna lead him to green, taking the inside lane again after taking the outside on the first one there.
Yeah, he decided better of that one. He's going to try one more time. But look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 drivers kind of spinning the tires on the restart. So it's very interesting. Usually you see 1 or 2, but to see upwards of 4 drivers spinning the tires, that is definitely a different one. And looks like Will Duvall is spun on pit road. Not sure what happened there to that B32 machine, but we could possibly get a word in with him. Will, you got a copy as our in-race reporter?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, what happened there where you didn't even know you were on pit road, and the next thing we know, you're turned around backwards?
Well, I wasn't on pit road. I was up in, I believe it was 18th, and just went as soon as the green flag came out, and I hit the gas pedal, the motor blew. So I honestly couldn't tell you.
Well,
Blew the motor and just shot the car down to the infield. I couldn't tell you, honestly.
Well, definitely not the way you want your day to go, but Will, we do have some good news potentially for you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, well, we're sort of announcer here. If you want to jump in, we'll make your day better a little bit.
Well, I could hop in there. I still got race control duties, so there'll be times that I won't be available to talk, but I can hop in.
Oh, we'll definitely talk to you a little bit more than just on pit road. And Greg right there, I don't know who that was. I believe that was the 29 of Buckingham, just went for a little bit of a ride after contact into the outside wall.
Problems there. He was running second. Mogart got a run to the inside. He's got a lot of damage, and he's not done yet. He gets hit again by, I believe, the 3 of Jaden Kraus. And yeah, so suddenly second place for Buchanan is suddenly washed away as he's now well outside the top 5.
He is definitely well out the side of the top 5 and borderline outside the top 10 here shortly. And again, now it's unfortunately Will Duvall is out of this race, so we'll be talking to him a little bit more as he, of course, is running admin duties here as well. So we'll get an insight into what may have happened penalty-wise, stuff like that. But Mogart, about a half a second away from the leader as Hogan, as he's done all race long so far, has pulled away to a sizable lead, Greg. The question is, does anybody have anything for him here tonight?
He's up a half a second at the line there last time over Jared Mogart, trying to pull away here. And Charles, I'm new to this series. The only name I recognized in this race before I joined in today was Jared Mogart. So Boyd Hogan has been one of the stronger cars in the series as well. Am I correct?
Yeah, he definitely, he's a force to be reckoned with. You know, really, to be honest with you, your top 5 are usually a top 5 for the last couple of weeks, so not a lot's changing in there from week to week. However, we might have a change between right now, second and third of Mogart and Tupper. So we'll see how that one all plays out throughout the rest of this race. And again, we got some new stuff we're checking here. It's not fully working, but we see, I can see on my end that we currently have 134 laps to go. So again, it's a back-end feature we'll be sending out to all of our announcers here soon, but 134 laps to go here at the moment. So some good stuff going down here at LSR TV, but Again, there's some serious battles, Greg, going on here, especially between the 11 and the 17. That is, of course, the Brett Rolls and Cole Duggar.
Yeah, great battle here mid-pack. This is for 5th as we got another caution here, Charles. 4th one of the day.
It's involving, it looks like Anthony Hansen and Jesse Powers going to be bringing out this caution. Again, it looks like the Mellow Yellow car involved in a caution, and no doing of his own this time. The number 6 definitely helped with that one. And you saw that UPS car going for a bit of a ride too right there at the end of that one.
Yeah, tough right there, Charles, for several of our drivers. And boy, Jesse Powers, his bad night continues. Going up, driver's side door in the wall, there's the 111 getting involved. So suddenly another one is washed away. That's the 3rd incident for Powers. This is going to be a night he wants to forget.
Yeah, he is ready for this race to be over, done with, pack it up, put it in the hauler, and just say, I'm out of here. And they say everything is bigger in Texas. Well, apparently so are the cautions. So, again, a few cautions so far. We're on lap 35 of 167. We'll step away here real quick for a commercial break after we have pit stops here, as everybody in the top 10 so far, 11, 12, 13, 14, are going to be coming down pit road. We'll see how this all plays out. 2 tires, 4 tires. We know they're going to take fuel. The question is, how are things going to work here? Would you take tires and fuel? And then obviously we're not quite to the halfway point just yet.
Well, honestly, we ran a lot of extensive practice and testing and stuff, and what we ran on our team over at Team Outlaw Motorsports, we discovered,
way down pit lane.
2 to 3 stops would be ideal, and this is way early for our race strategy. But if the cautions continue, I don't know that it's really a terrible way to go.
All right, well, there you have it. We can hear some team communications going on, so we'll let him get back to that. He's still got duties to do here under caution. Greg, we did have your top about 11 or 12 drivers come down, except for Cole Duggar, who did not come down pit road. Meanwhile, Ted Emmenizer, currently in that 26, he's in 2nd spot, 26 spots up, and he's made 3 stops compared to the 0 for your race leader.
And he's just going to come in or inherit the lead here because Duggar stayed out just to lead the lap. So Ted Emmenizer, remember, he did not qualify, Charles. He was one of 2 drivers that did not take a qualifying lap, so he's going to inherit the race lead. But we'll see how it goes for him here on this restart. Devin Lockridge won the race off pit road. Did he perhaps take 2 tires compared to the rest of the field?
Well, let's take a look, and indeed he did. 7.45 seconds on pit road, indicating that he took only 2 tires. My question is, and I believe, if I'm correct, this is how it works. You have 5 sets of tires. You have the set that's on the car and 4 sets sitting on pit road. If you only take 2 tires, so just the left side or just the right side, I don't think iRacing distinguishes between that. It just knows you took tires, and I believe that will count as a complete set. Anyway, I know our in-race reporter and admin for the series, Will Duvall, may be able to shed some light on that for us.
What was the question?
So we saw that Ted Emmenizer only took 2 tires, so either left or right. If he only takes 2 or just one side of the car, does that count as a complete set of tires for him?
Honestly, I couldn't answer that. I've never taken any less than a full set of tires, so that's actually a pretty good question.
I believe it does count as a full set. If I remember something that we had a situation like this pop up in another league I announced on another channel, and I believe that it was determined that a 2-tire stop does count as a full set. I believe that's what happened.
We'll have to see. Of course, I guess it really, Greg, it comes down to, iRacing has the feature where you can limit sets. Are they using the built-in feature to limit sets, or are they, running this manually? If they're doing it manually, you could say, okay, you took right sides on this pit stop and left sides on this one, and it would count as a complete set then. It really comes down to how they are enforcing this rule.
So we'll see what the decision is here as far as how that goes. I'll be curious to see what happens. Noticing right now, Emmenizer took the outside here, Charles, it would appear. But if you look, the tail end of that car is crumpled in pretty severely on the 26 car. So I don't foresee this going very well, not just for him, but for Jared Mogart, who's going to be lined up behind him.
Yeah, it's not going to go well. 2 tires plus a crumpled up rear end. If it messes with his start, then it's really going to affect everyone around him as well. So we'll just... Okay.
This will be a tough one also, because notice who's behind Jared Mogart lined up 6th position. John Ruby, we talked about him. He's number 8 on the ticker, number 3 on your screen. Already used the fast repair in an incident on lap number 2 of this race. And here he is. He's up in 6th already.
Yeah, we've had a few cautions. He was, like you said, involved in one of those. As we'll just keep an eye on him, see how he does later on in this race. And again, we'll be talking a little bit more to Wildwall here in just a little bit. But the lights are off, and all eyes are on that 26 machine. As he's got Razor on there, and he's going to be on a little bitty razor thin line here to see if this car goes. He's gonna have to get a slower start, I think. He's not gonna want to gas it. 2 tires plus damage. If he just hammers down, he's probably gonna spin that car out either into the outside wall or right into Mogart.
Right, no doubt he's riding the Razor's edge on this one. On the outside here, No Limits Texas, we're going to complete our 4th caution of the day. Going to start lap number 40 of 167 of this first of 2 here at Texas on LSR TV tonight. Here we go. Pace car ducking off, set to go green. Field in the hands of Emmenizer, but watch him on this restart. Can Lockridge capitalize in the brand new addition here to Team Outlaw Racing? We're green, and a good start so far for Emmenizer. Question is, how long can he keep it there?
Yeah, he got a good start. It wasn't a shot out of a cannon start, but it was a start, and he's not going to be able to hold it at all as he goes up and lets these guys by. But then looks like Mogart got a little loose, made a little contact, and there is what we were afraid of happening, and it's going to wad up basically the whole middle of the field.
Yep, a lot of cars involved in this one. Saw the 18 down there. Saw the 8 going around. 33 involved. Several drivers in this one, and that is not what we wanted to see here. No. I think this one, Charles, is a better list of who was not involved.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And we're going to have to go. And there you see, we'll go back here in a second to see exactly. But this is just a view of who all got involved in this. Literally the entire middle of the field involved in this. And this is going back to when it started. Of course, Ted Emmenizer right there actually got contact from the 115. And that just spins everybody out of control. And it was just a junkyard / parking lot going into a turn number 3 and 4. But unfortunate, I thought we were going to say the 26 was to blame. He did get a little loose, but if you go look here, we'll go back and look one more time. I'm not going to say 100% that he's to blame there, because the 115 did look like he came up, and he gave these guys plenty of room right here as we go all the way back to the restart.
It was 4 wide. Well, there's a big slide right there at Lockridge, which is what bottlenecked the field in the first place. If he didn't sat it first, then yeah, 4 wide there just never worked. But I didn't see that the first couple times. That started with Lockridge, who had just passed him for the lead with the big slide. That's what checked the field up there and set this up to trigger like that.
It definitely set it all in motion, and that car may be black and silver, but it's going to be a little black and blue as well. But it's just one of them unfortunate things. Mogart really escaped luckily there. As that shot in the shorts there really got him loose, almost turned him around, but he kept going there. Lockridge still going to be behind him, but it makes you wonder if Lockridge may have something for Mogart, because he caught him in a hurry, and when he got to his back bumper to give him a little shot there.
Yeah, Mogart getting lucky that he got through there, and I believe the only other driver who threw that without trouble was maybe Brent Fair in the 0-13, as he's now up there in the third position. I think everybody else back there may have at least got a piece of it. Taking a look, Boyd Hogan's back there in fourth on board. Doesn't really have a whole lot of damage, but he may have lost a few spots there. Noticed seeing a couple other drives. Gary Peck already back up in the top 5 after his connection issues put him in the back after an EOL penalty. A couple of drivers have gone behind the wall. Steve Buchanan, who was up in second in the early stages, and Travis Daly, who his day went from bad to worse after he hit the wall in the early stages there. So up and down day here thus far. Lockridge looks okay. Brent Fair looks good. Number 6 is a lap down. He is mired deep in the field there. Next car in the lead lap is the 19 of Donnie Fair. He looks good. Hogan looks good. So a couple drivers are okay, but that took out several drivers who were right up there in the mix. And the bad one there, or the one that really bites, was the number 8 of John Ruby, because he had already used up a fast repair, had climbed back into the top 5, and then all of a sudden, bam, that happens.
Yeah, that is literally the worst thing that can happen, is to use that fast repair and then not have it. That's like your ace up your sleeve when you're out here on the track and you have one. I can promise you right now, it is a feature that a lot of leagues use, a lot of leagues don't use. But I can promise you that, you talk to any real-life driver, they absolutely wish they had a fast repair, when they were racing in real-life NASCAR, especially now when you have, a 5-minute rule, and if you can't get it fixed in 5 minutes, you have to take it behind the wall, and your night's pretty much over at that point. Essentially, though, I guess, Greg, if it's in qualifying practice or whatever, they kind of do have a fast repair, because they have an entire backup car.
Yeah, that's about the closest they get. I know Kenny Schrader was talking about perhaps trying to add a fast repair button to his dirt model that he brings around the country, and I know one of our drivers is going to be competing in our late night race here at Texas on LSR TV. Seth Frazier was also talking about doing that to his car, but it's something that maybe we next up on the docket for NASCAR to try to develop that fast repair button to help these drivers out. And I wonder if these real-life drivers who were in, say, the NASCAR Pro Invitational Series or the IndyCar Virtual, I wonder how much they miss having that fast repair, because we saw, especially the race here, got quite wild in the NASCAR Pro Invitational Series. So I wonder how many of those drivers are kind of missing that aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't know quite how you could put it in. Maybe some built-in airbags into the car where you could hit a button and it inflates the airbags to the perfect shape of the car, and then voila, all it bends all your sheet metal back into place. Maybe like ours, you find at like the amusement park, little fairgrounds or something. You put the little ring around there that protects the actual fiberglass, kind of like the bumper cars. There you go. That'll work. We got ideas. Now we just got to get them implemented. So we'll see if those ever come to light. Something tells me we're wishful thinking here, but regardless of that, one thing that will happen is here to start lap 46. We will get the green flag one more time, as I believe that was the 17 Yep, it was. But Brett Roll's going to get his lap back, and that's number 17, Ritz and DeWalt. Throwback with some Oreo on there as well to Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, cool to see a little bit of a snacking car up there. Kind of making me a little bit hungry. I'm glad that I ate before this race went on the air. And by the way, I'm noticing also we have a Hooters car in the field that is a modified. Same paint scheme that we see on Monday nights in the Cup Series, but not seeing a Taco Bell car out there, so no taco wings for you today here, Charles.
That is unfortunate
here in this
too.
one, but that is very unfortunate. But Jared Mogart has selected the outside, Lockridge on the inside. So race leader Mogart taking the outside, looking to go back-to-back. Will start in the outside lane after starting in the 11th position. Here we go, getting set to go green. Lap 45 on the docket, and we'll see how it goes.
Green flag is and also getting a quick word from Will DePaul as to explaining the waiver on there for Brett Rolls. Will DePaul, you got a copy?
Yeah, sorry. I said the wrong push to talk button there, but we don't do wave rounds in our league. But the reason why we gave him a wave is because under yellow flag, when he went down through the pits, he got spun around, I believe it was under yellow flag. He got spun around in the pits, had to get turned around. By the time he got turned back around, he had ended up laps down. So we opted to go ahead and give him the wave around, as that was something outside of his control and completely unfair to him.
Oh, that is good news for him. He does get one of his laps back. Unfortunately, it's not going to help him a whole lot as he's still a few laps down.
Problems back in the pack.
Yeah, definitely problems, and that is Devin Lockridge. I don't know what happened. We're about to find out. Well, that was a hard lick to the outside wall, and we're going to go back.
And that continued for pretty much the entire length of the backstretch. I saw John Ruby and a couple other ones. Big slide out of Lockridge. Same spot as the last one there. And, he just shot up trying to avoid it, and everyone almost got through here, but I saw John Ruby get involved and one of the M&M's cars up there as well. I believe it was Chad Evans in the M&M's Fudge one. Yep, this one. You see there, Lockridge spinning aside. Yep, and kapow.
And just, right there, the 3 getting involved as well. So, like I said a little bit earlier, we now know how the fudge brownies get inside the M&Ms. They put them on that 18 car, and, unfortunate for him, he's hit a few things here tonight. Not necessarily his own doing. Like you saw there, he did kind of break loose on his own, but he was trying to avoid hitting another car. And Greg, you can attest to this. I've been behind the wheel of one of these. They're hard enough to handle as it is. And if you have to make a sudden move to avoid somebody else, it really upsets the car.
Yeah, these cars are so aero-sensitive. I've driven a couple of these races in Carburetor Cup, which is the iRacing, basically the rookie Cup series that allows you to drive cars but not worry about safety rating. And I've driven in a couple of them, and yeah, if you even make the slightest touch to the wrong way, that car is going to snap around and you're going to be in a fight the entire way. So, it's how aero-sensitive these cars are, and that's why we're seeing a kind of a big following of the 87 cars also, because the 87 cars seem to be more in the driver's hands. They can kind of wrestle them around and do what they want, whereas you try to wrestle one of these around, it's just an automatic spin and nose into the wall. So that's why you see kind of your divide on this. You have half the group who loves these cars and the other half who just love those 87 cars.
Yeah, and you got to remember back in the 87 Cup cars, that was the year I was born. So I don't know too much about those. But going into the 90s, and, we have made huge strides in safety. And with the safety comes these new style cars. whether you like them or you don't like them. But they're definitely safer. But back in the old days, I can remember watching, and that was when I called NASCAR in its prime, when it had drivers like Kel Yarbrough, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett. Those guys, you beat, banged, and ripped fenders off a car. And the famous quote from Dale Earnhardt Sr. back in those days with those older cars is he rolled the car and he got out, checked the wheels, and all the wheels were still inflated. It cranked up, and he wanted back out on the track. You can't necessarily do that here with these newer cars, but they're definitely not as tough, I don't think, but they're definitely safer.
Yeah, see if it cranks is what he told his pit crews they were working on. They had to duct tape the spoiler back on because that's what NASCAR told them. They're like, you can go back out there, but you need a spoiler. But the spoiler was completely ripped off the car, so they had to duct tape it back on. But yeah, that's just something you just will not see with these new cars. And doubt that the new car that's been pushed back to 2022, but I doubt that we're going to see that with the new car as well. Could Jared Mogart perhaps be setting it up to come down pit road here? No. I thought maybe he was going to fake out Donnie Fair behind him and see if he could trick him into pit road as Lucky Dog's coming around. And that's actually Brett Rawls, I believe, coming around. But the 00 Mogart back in front. But how about this interesting stat, Cody? All three drivers in the top three started outside the top 10.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see these guys again. Qualifying maybe looking like it wasn't as important of a deal because these guys, maybe they realized there was going to be some cautions. They would have a chance to get up to the front. That being said, if you go later in this race, say we have a 15-lap shootout or a 10-lap shootout, and some guys are going to attempt two tires, and you're way back in the pits because of that, does not qualifying help you in that case? I think not so much. I want to qualify not necessarily for the starting position, but for the pit stall.
Yeah, that would probably be the big advantage here right now because 167 laps and this aero package, with it being as aero sensitive as it is, can make the racing difficult. So with that being said, the main advantage you would probably have for qualifying would be pit stall, and you don't have to worry about being deep on pit road here. But we've seen so far as racing goes, you're right, not having a good starting spot hasn't necessarily hindered anyone here today, but it certainly has helped the likes of Boyd Hogan, who's been up in the top 5 pretty much all day as well, led most of the early stages of this one as we are starting to make some progress towards halfway, still about 30 laps from halfway. But also, Charles, something else that paying attention to and the way this race is going might rear its ugly head before the end of it. Time limit as well. We're almost halfway through the time limit as well. 2 hours and 8 minutes is the allotted time for this race. We're already at 57 minutes gone. So we, at the rate we're going, we might not even make it 167 laps.
That we very well could, and I believe, I'm not sure, I'm showing 54 minutes, so iRacing timing compared to our overlay timings may be slightly off of each other, but either way, 54 to 57, that's only a 3-minute difference, and that's not going to make a big difference in the overall grand scheme of things. But yeah, we have time up there on the screen now, so basically 55-ish minutes of 2 hours and 8 minutes. That very well could come into question, and this is not the first time it's come into question. We have had it very questionable before. I believe last time this happened, we were just about maybe a minute away. They crossed the line, and within the cool down lap, time expired on the race.
Oof, that would have been very close as we get set. Green flag back in the air. Mogart getting a good start, but Hogan to the outside of Donnie Fair. So we'll see if the top two cars throughout the course of the day can settle at 1-2. And yes, they will, as Hogan almost cleared. Now he is here of second place. So move boy Hogan back to second, the pole sitter and early race leader. 3-car breakaway here at the front, Charles, as Fair doing a good job hanging in there with them, as Boyd Hogan right up on the back bumper of Jared Mogart.
Yeah, as you can see right there from the rear end of Jared Mogart, Boyd Hogan right on his back bumper, and the caution going to come out once again. We'll go ahead and get back to our main view, and we'll see here. We're seeing the yellow issued, and it looks like Cody Gasky going to be involved in this one in that number 27 machine.
You know, look, he's going around the inside of some slower traffic. All good here so far. We're coming up now. This is about where the caution came out. Some smoke in front of him. Oh, that was in front of him.
And that is Nick King. So we didn't actually get a trigger as to what happened. So we're going to do that. And there, we got the yellow flag trigger, but we didn't. It didn't actually trigger as to who caused it. We did see it. So the 37 machine. And we'll see exactly what happened to that car. Did they hit the wall or just blow the engine?
He's got Lockridge. Oh, contact with Lockridge is what leads to that. And then pow into the wall.
Unfortunate for the 37 of Devin Lockridge. You know, he's been into a couple of different drivers here tonight. I remember just not too long ago, he gave a shot to the 00 of Mogart. I do believe that was him anyway. That gave him that shot. It was. So he's trying to fight his way back to the front. I think if I was a betting man, I would think that the Lockridge is just not having the day he wanted, and he's really trying to fight to get back to the front.
And we've seen that a couple of times here tonight, Charles. Drivers who had such strong cars at the start having issues. So definitely an up and down night for several drivers. And one of them has to be Cannon in the number 29, who's out of the race. Started 7th, was up in 2nd, contending for the lead. Got caught up in that melee back in turn number, or on the backstretch about 15 laps ago. That was a shocker to end his day. We saw Travis Dowley in the 15 get caught up in a couple of incidents. Jesse Powers just did not have a good day. He got caught up in 3 different incidents. So we've seen quite a few times here today already some drivers struggling with that, and it's just a long day getting worse. And we are closing in on halfway in the time limit here, so that very much could be what happens. That's pretty much your iRacing version of getting rained out here, Charles, would be if we get to that time limit.
Yeah, and you know, if you're any familiar with dirt track racing, for anyone out there watching, you know, typically dirt track races have a time limit. And these are dirt guys, so we'll just have to see if we get near that limit this race here. But we are going to step away here real quick and again thank the sponsors for everything they do to keep us going here. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in just a minute as we're under caution to leave for the 6th or 7th time here on lap 56.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
All right, race fans, we are back. Of course, myself, Charles Wooten, alongside Greg Ritz. And a good race so far. We've seen some good racing action, a few more cautions than, of course, we wanted to see. But not much has changed here in your top two. It's still Mogart and Hogan. But look what we have, the dynamic duo here, Donnie Fair and Brent Fair, sitting in third and fourth. Could we have the family, the Fair family, come and take down Hogan and Mogart here on the restart?
We very well could. Remember, Donnie Fair in the number 19, that's the car on the inside, was able to hang with him there on that run, was right up on the bumper of Boyd Hogan. But here's something I noticed here, Charles. Jared Mogart selected the inside. That puts Boyd Hogan on the outside, and we saw that Boyd Hogan was really strong on the outside. So, interesting move here by Mogart to give Hogan the lane that he's been stronger in here on the restart. So curious to see what happens between these two on this restart.
Yeah, that is one of those things is we're getting the green flag. It's like, what do you do? If you're good, you're better on the inside, your competition's better on the outside. Do you suffer and stay on the outside so that he can't be good? Or do you go to the inside and hope that you are just better than his better on the outside? It's going to be a tough call, but it looks like Mogart made the right one as he shoots out to the front. But here comes Hogan. He is not done just yet. And again, they still got to worry about Donnie and Brent Fair, but unfortunately Brent Fair going to be falling back just a little bit, but the battle for the lead is on.
Yeah, I believe Brent may have spun the tires. Here we go. Inside, Boyd Hogan taking a peek of Jared Mogart. Mogart going to lead the lap, working the lap number 60. How about Gary Peck back up into the top 5 in fourth now after getting that EOL for connection issues earlier. Robert Carroll, who qualified 17th, has climbed into the top 5 for the first time as well. Eric Tupper, who was caught up in that melee on the backstretch, he has climbed his way back to 6th after using the fast repair. So some drivers beginning to rally back.
They are definitely rallying back, and Robert Carroll got a little loose going out of turn 4, but he manages to hang on to it as he's side by side with Peck. He's going to get by that 511 of Gary Peck, though, and take 4th position away. Mogart, he has pulled away from Hogan, but not by much, 0.01 to 0.02, and now that lead is back to 0.10. So really, Hogan's not being able to gain on Mogart, but Mogart's not being able to pull away from Hogan either. And I say that now the gap is 0.14 to 0.16. So that gap is fluctuating depending on where they're at on the track.
All depends on how they roll through the corners. And here we go, Hogan again with a big dive there in the turn 3. Had to check up a little bit to avoid running into the back of Mogart. Great racing here between these two as Mogart and Hogan trying to settle things down here, working lap number 63. Mogart, great entry in the turn 1 there, Charles, to really open up quite a bit of gap. And it worked out there as he suddenly has a big gap over Hogan, who now is going to feel the heat from Donnie Fair.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while this is going on, we're going to quickly take a look on there to replay. This did not trigger a caution, but John Ruby, who we had talked about a few times, we're showing him off track. We're going to see what happened here as just going into the corner. Again, not sure exactly what happened to him as right there, he just gets it loose, and he barely misses that inside wall, goes into the grass. But meanwhile, we got a new leader as Hogan just takes the lead from Jared Mogart.
But the caution is out. An incident on the backstretch. Did Hogan have the spot at the time of caution, or are we going back to the last completed lap? We will have to see what happened here. Caution was right around 8th or 9th, I believe, as there we see breaking loose and into the wall. Ooh. That was Fair and the 26 of Emmenizer.
Having some issues here tonight. He's been involved in a few incidents. And who was that cut in with him? Was that the 013? And Yes, it was the 013 of Brent Fair, like you said. So just unfortunate luck for some drivers here. And we're still under caution, and it is showing Hogan as the race leader. Mogart has not tried to pass him. So, and some big fakery.
Yeah, both of them with some last-minute trickery there to get on the pit road. So we'll see now who comes in. And will we see some more strategy here, Charles, as we saw several drivers go the two-tire route last time. We'll see if anyone tries it here on pit road.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, 2 tires, 4 tires. So what is the call going to be? We know Eric Tupper, Brett Rolls, and Cole Duggar did not stop. And Hogan, 6.53 seconds. And I'm not even sure that he even got tires at all.
That may have been fuel only. And that's a gamble right now. You have 4 sets of tires, and I believe you still have 3 left. I think you could have gotten away with taking a set there. Big gamble there out of Boyd Hogan.
Yeah, Boyd Hogan, we're going to see if we can find out just when he did. And this right here, this is when he entered the pits. So we'll watch this replay again. We'll watch both of these guys here, as they're both going to be relatively close in the pit stalls, and check and see, did they take tires at all? And you can see right there, we can't see the 00. I thought they were closer than that. But here he does pull in, and no, there is no jack going under that car, as his guys in the pits are wearing tuxedos or suits. So that's kind of cool. But either way, no tires for Boyd Hogan. He is going to stay on the old tires, which really, Greg, aren't that old as far as racing-wise.
Gary Peck was also able to beat the 00 of Mogart off, so wondering if Peck took fuel only also in the 511. 3 cars stayed out for this one here, Charles. Tupper Rowles, who's back on the lead lap after his little fiasco on pit road a few moments ago, and Cole Duggar, who started 3rd, is back up where he started now.
Yeah, and I believe you're right. 5.95 seconds for Gary Peck. So he, too, not taking any tires, just fuel to top it off. And we're on lap 67 of 167, which means the next time they cross the line, we will have 100 laps to go left in this race. And Greg, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. We got to keep an eye on that time. We are at 1 hour, 9 minutes of the 2 hours and 8 minutes allotted for this race, which means we have less than an hour left to complete the next 100 laps. And if the pace keeps going the way it goes, that is going to be cutting it very close.
Yeah, it's going to be very close here. Charles, another car behind the wall now. John Ruby has had his connection drop, and that happened in practice a couple times, and it's been such a roller coaster day for Ruby that I'm not sure he may even want to try to get back into the race after that. Under caution here once again in No Limits, Texas. Don't forget, fans watching at home, this is race number 1 of a doubleheader here at Texas Motor Speedway on LSR TV here tonight. Just after this, we go on the air around 8:15 for the Northwest Racing Series, their second trip to Texas Motor Speedway of the season. So make sure you tune in that and see if Sean Breitzman can sweep the Texas races here and pick up his series leading 7th of the season. That's coming up here on LSR TV in just a little bit after this race goes off the air.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good one. And the lights are still on, so we're going to step away, rest our voices for just a moment, and we'll be right back here as soon as those lights go off to restart on lap number 69. No, 70 is what we'll be on. All right, we are back. As the lights are off on the pace car, we are officially past the 100 to go mark as we have less than 100 laps to go here in tonight's race. And the green flag is back out, and Eric Tupper got a pretty good start. Nobody was anywhere around him. He got about a probably 3 to 4 car length jump on the field. But is that good for him? As he's going to have Duggar, Hogan, and Mogart right on his tail here very soon.
Yeah, they're going to use that draft to right up on him here as Duggar with a run on the inside. But here comes Hogan and Mogart to the inside of Duggar. And just like that, Duggar gets hung out to dry as now Hogan trying to sniff the back end of Eric Tupper. And just like that, your front row of the night, Tupper and Hogan back to 1-2 with the roles flipped as Tupper started outside of the pole. He's back in the lead right now with your pole sitter Hogan behind him.
Yeah, he definitely is. Again, just flip-flopping the rolls is where they were. And Tupper out front. Mogart not done. Hogan's not done either. He's going to go to the inside, and he will get by and make that position stick. And Mogart going to say, I'll take a super there. I'm going to get by as well. And Mogart going to go or try to go back-to-back wins as he's got the iBite Power number 00 back out front once again here on lap 72.
Great move there by Mogart to not even burp the throttle as Hogan got the lead, and all of a sudden Hogan had no choice but to step aside and give it to him here as now Mogart trying to make a run in the 96 to get back at Boyd or Jared Mogart. Boyd Hogan in the second spot, Mogart leading the way. How about Brett Rawls back up in third after his little incident on pit road a few laps ago?
Yeah, he is taking that Ritz DeWalt Oreo. Yeah, there's some other sponsor on there as well. Number 17 to third place. A 13-spot gain. 10 spots for Jared Mogart. You know, yeah, big shout-out to the 00. iBuy Power needs to take a look at that 00 machine and see how something is supposed to run. Maybe their computers wouldn't run as good as that as well. But that's neither here nor there. But Jared Mogart out front. Hogan, you know, you got to ask yourself, Greg, does he have anything for Mogart? He gets out ahead of him, but then Mogart just freight trains and gets back by. What kind of strategy are you going to have to play to get by a car that fast? Fuel, or, you know, no fuel if you don't need it. Tires, not hitting. What are you going to have to do?
You're going to have to figure a way out. I don't think the problem is so much going to be getting around him because we know that Boyd Hogan can't get around him. I think the problem is going to be keeping him at bay when he does, because we've seen Hogan be able to get around Mogart a couple of times throughout the course of the night, but every time Mogart is able to just roar right back around within a couple of laps. So if Hogan can get out there and go on defense as he tries to cycle laps off, he might be able to get it done. And right now, with this semi-long green flag run, one of the longer green flag runs we've had so far here today, Hogan kind of just riding it out right now. Rawls kind of hanging that back there with him. So Hogan might just be settling it down and sizing up his next move right now. Not so much going after Mogart, keeping him within striking distance half a second. But now Rawls is going to make his shot for the second position, and he's going to take it through turns 1 and 2. Now for Hogan, it becomes not only trying to reel in the 00, now you got to get back around the 17.
Yeah, Rawls definitely on the move. He's got to, you got to run a fine line between conserving your tires and, because you only have a set amount of sets left, and, pushing it to keep up with the race leader. We've seen it happen where a leader can lap the entire field. I don't see that happening here, but Mogart at the moment has a 0.8 second lead over second place Brett Rawls, and it's almost 0.9, so we'll keep a very close tab on that. But look at this battle going on back here between, well, it was a battle anyway, as it looks like Donnie Fair is going to take that spot away quickly.
So Fair trying to make his way back up. Remember, he was as high as second a few laps ago. Back into the top 5 now. Started 22nd, was up as high as second in this race. Now back in the top 5 after a split bag on pit road. So fighting his way back up as he gets around Gary Peck, who's had a roller coaster of a day in his own right, as well the drivers behind them. Devin Lockridge in the 017. What a day he has had, Charles.
Yeah, he's had a great day. And while we're talking about them, something I didn't see coming, and that is Hogan coming back by Rolls to take second place away. Makes you wonder, did possibly Hogan get a little loose? Something happened there? Or was he just conserving those tires just a little bit? Because he got back around Rolls and has checked out from him by about 2 car lengths. So we'll see. I don't think anybody at the moment has anything from Mogart, as he's still about 8/10 away. But remember I mentioned Rolls was about 9/10 away from Mogart? Well, now Hogan is 0.7 seconds away. So Hogan is actually reeling in Mogart.
Might have been able to catch the slipstream of the 00, and that's pulling him in with this aero package that the Cup cars use, Charles. You're able to draft, and these tracks like Texas and Charlotte, they all of a sudden race a little bit more like Daytona and Talladega, the plate tracks, because drafting is so crucial here. I mean, when you see these cars at Michigan or Auto Club, you literally think you're watching Daytona and Talladega, and here we are seeing what the draft is doing as Boyd Hogan caught the slipstream of Mogart, and he has suddenly pulled it into about a car length now. So Hogan not done yet with Mogart, and this is going back to what we talked about earlier. Not sure if passing Mogart is going to be difficult. It's going to be keeping him at bay, because he has been able to pull right up, and here he goes to the inside. Hogan taking a shot.
Yeah, and one thing, on top of him being able to catch him because of that slipstream, we also have to ask ourselves, Greg, is Hogan really faster than Mogart on the long run? We have yet to see a long run to see if he is faster. We're seeing that right now.
Yeah, I believe this is one of the longest runs we've had of the day, and there he is rocking around to the outside. Remember, Charles, he led the first 40-odd laps of this race while Mogart kind of rode in third as they go side by side. Hogan inside, Mogart outside, door-to-door through 3 and 4 as they come through. Can Hogan clear? Not quite yet. Mogart fights back on the outside, but I believe Hogan's going to lead the lap. As they cross the strike, we're just past halfway in the race lap-wise. As Hogan still trying to clear, and he does, going into turn number 1. And now Hogan can focus on what's going on out the windshield only and try to keep that number 00 at bay, try to pull away. But this is going back to what we saw at the start of the race here. He led about 40 laps in the early stages, and Mogart kind of just rode it out. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that gap, as there's also a little bit of a gap, or there was a gap back here between Eric Tupper and Brett Rolls. That has kind of fizzled out, but we got a good battle going on between Donnie Fair and Devin Lockridge, as those two are side by side. That's a battle for 6th position, just outside the top 5. So we'll just keep a close eye on that to see what happens, how it plays out. But Hogan currently 0.17 seconds in front of Mogart. They are starting to get a little bit spread out, and that's what we haven't seen so far, Greg, tonight, because of the the amount of cautions. But now that their green flag is out to stay, hopefully anyway, we are starting to see these cars get more and more spread out on the track.
And this goes back to what we talked about before the race started, Charles. If they get a green flag and that lasted a good 10, 15, 20 laps and get spread out, you'd be able to click a few laps off. And we're seeing that here as the top 2 have broken away. 1.7 seconds, the gap to third place Eric Tupper in the 1:15. But yeah, we are seeing these drivers, now that we're spread out, they're able to click some laps away. And now we're starting to get into the mode. Now we're in the second half of the race, lap count wise, well past halfway in the time limit. About 40 minutes or so remaining in that time limit, with about 80 to go in the race. So maybe, just maybe, we might be able to get this in if we can click off some more laps.
Yeah, you can see right there, an hour 23 of 2 hours and 8 minutes. What we have to keep in mind too is one thing we haven't talked about here pretty much at all tonight, so we'll bring it up now, is the longer we run on a green flag run, Greg, the slower these cars are going to get. So, our best times, 28.8s, 28.7s in there. Right now, we're running 30.0s, 30.2s, 3s, inwards of 30.5s. So these times are also getting quite a bit slower. So that's roughly 2 laps a minute. To go around this track where it was a little under 2 laps a minute. So that can play a factor into it, as well. How long do you stay out on a set of tires, if we stay green?
If you stay out on, or if we stay green, you might want to start thinking about pitting. I don't know, with the way this is abrasive on tires, maybe around 40 laps or so. Try to split the rest of this race in half and go pit stop and try to finish off with what you got. You still have a couple sets of tires on pit road, at least some of the drivers do. Started with 4 sets of tires on pit road, so we'll see how it goes for these guys going the rest of the way. But I think you'll start seeing guys make the last pit stop perhaps with about 40 to go in this race, maybe.
Well, it'll be interesting to see as we'll be coming up on 67 to go here in just a little bit. And again, everyone getting really spread out here is Cody McKnight and Anthony Hansen are going to be putting on a little bit of a battle here in the 6 and the 111. Other than that, everyone pretty much at least a second apart, as the number 6 of Anthony Hansen going to get nice and friendly with the outside wall.
And it's been a row for the 6 car of Anthony Hansen, just based off, you can tell on the body how there's a little bit of damage there too. And he's only 1 lap down and is still 4 spots to the good from his qualifying position of 18th. He's running 14th right now, so not a bad performance when it's all said and done. And he's got quite a bit of ground over the next car position-wise. Ted Emmenizer is just now coming off turn number 2, so about half a lap worth of distance for the 6 of Hansen, and he is rolling at a much quicker pace than Emmenizer is, so no pressure out the back for him as he can just kind of settle things down. But tough break for him here in the early stages. Meanwhile, once he got settled down and the field was really started to spread out, Boyd Hogan, man, once he got around Mogart, he checked out. It's up over 2 seconds now, the gap.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think Hogan has the better long run car. Mogart maybe the better short run car. So right now, if you're Hogan, you're saying let's run this thing out, boys, all the way to the end. If you're Mogart, you're saying where's the Sasquatch? Where's the banana peel? Somebody throw a water bottle, something. I need a caution. I want to be able to catch back up, because Mogart definitely better on the short run, where Hogan definitely is faster on the long run. Oh, and where's your caution right there?
Oh, who was that who just piled into the back? Was that Peck, who was up near the top 5?
I do believe so. We'll take a look here as a
33 a couple of cars with some damage, and there you see Lockridge getting involved there as well.
Unfortunately, right Lockridge, just not a good night for him here tonight.
Which is a shame, because this is his first race with his new team. Wanted to have a good outing. Joining Team LSR TV, doesn't have the decals on it. That's how new he is to the team. We got to get the new wrap on the car next week. But tough break for Lockridge. He'll look to bounce back with some new looks on his car. Speaking of which, where are we headed next week with the series?
Oh, we can take a quick word with the guy that's putting all of this on. Joe, you got a copy?
10-4.
Well, the man that would know best as to where we are headed next week, where are we going next week? And are we going to be seeing the lights next week for a night race, or is it going to be a day race as well?
We're going to be going to Bristol next week for and we actually haven't decided on the race yet. We're going to leave that one up to Will Duvall for next week.
Well, we'll see what we have to do to bribe Will Duvall there, of course, race control, to make it a night race, because what's better, Greg, than Bristol under the lights?
Nothing is better than Bristol under the lights.
There you go. Nothing is better than Bristol under the lights. If you disagree with us, well, then you just disagree with us, I guess. Nothing is better. And this time around, Hogan's going to take 4 tires and fuel. We'll see. He has definitely got a fast car in the long run. We'll be less than 100 to go when we take the green again. We're going to step away and, of course, thank some sponsors real quick, and we'll be right back.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we'll do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. You can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold, to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, T-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
All right, we are back. Of course, myself, Charles Hoon, and Greg Rentz here for LSR TV for the Monday Night Cup Series. And our front two just decided we're going down pit road. Boyd Hogan and Jared Mogart, they dropped to 9th and 10th, and they give up 1st and 2nd here for the restart. Interesting call, possibly, as the green flag comes back out. Again, we're all wondering, and Greg, we've talked about it multiple times, as we showed again, time is coming to a close here shortly. These guys are making different strategies now.
Yeah, I think that hit right there goes to the fact that I don't think the top two think we're going to go the distance, so they're going to go out, get that last set of tires in, and try to gain as much ground as they can before this time runs out. We are closing in on about half an hour left in the scheduled distance and about 60 laps to go. And we were talking under that commercial there, Charles. I think if we have one more caution, I think that'll seal the deal as far as making the scheduled distance. So these guys up front, they're hoping this thing goes green the rest of the way, because that will factor in for them. For Boyd Hogan and Jared Mogart, they're going to slice and dice through the field to try to get as many spots as they can. 8th and 9th right now, and you're seeing what the fresh tires are doing as they're closing in on Fair right now.
Yeah, they are closing in on Donnie Fair and Brent Fair. That is a fair pair there. Again, that was probably the cheesiest thing I've said all day. But anyway, I want to point out here that the fastest lap of this race, 28.68, was just run by Gary Peck. And the last time he was on pit road was lap 97. So we put a little scuff on those tires, and he just set sail and ran the fastest lap of this entire race here on lap 105.
That's not even the cheesiest thing you've said on the broadcast, Mr. Fudge M&M's, as we are clicking things away here. Hogan and Mogart trying to get around through traffic. Actually, Mogart was able to get around Hogan. That's a big one here, and they're bringing Cody McKnight with them. McKnight also able to get around Hogan. So Hogan may have set up the track there and opened the door for those two to come through. So here we go. It's on now as these guys try to tick their way through the field, as Tupper leading the way, rolls right up there in 2nd, and Gary Peck, who we thought was caught up in that incident, up in 3rd right now, and here he comes for 2nd.
And keeping an eye on this. So back here, you're going to really have to keep an eye on these two, Hogan and Mogart. Look who they're around. You know, nothing against these drivers, but you do have, I believe that's I'm not sure, Donnie Fair in one of those, the 111 of Cody McKnight, and Donnie Fair in what is actually the 19 or the 00 or 000 on that car. Both of them have been involved in a caution, and now you have what was your leaders mired all the way around them. So you're really gonna have to keep an eye on this to make sure that what were the leaders in 2nd place aren't involved in a caution now, mired back back in the top 10.
Yeah, they're trying to make their way through it as carefully as possible. Jared Mogart leading them, and Cody McKnight has entered the chat as well for that, as he is hanging with them on fresh tires. As Brent Fair sliding up the track, and he's going to hold up McKnight there as he got stuck on the outside between the Fairs, and that's going to allow Hogan to get around him and Brent Fair. So suddenly McKnight shuffled back in the pack. Meanwhile, Mogart only has one more car to get through, and he's in the top 5, and there it is right there. He's going to get around Cole Duggar, and just like that, Mogart back in the top 5, bringing Boyd Hogan with them. So now they're through that pack, and they just got to get through and start going to work on the top 3, Rolls, Peck, and Tupper. It's about half a straightaway back to them, and here they come. Caution.
And that is going to be Brent Fair, and that's what we were talking about. These guys that were mired back here, they, they've been involved in cautions. They have been no stranger to it. Not necessarily their problem, I would say, or their fault that they were involved in it. As we also have one more involved at the 111.
That's McKnight. Oh, that's a shame. McKnight was hanging in there with Mogart and Hogan trying to come up through traffic. See what happens here.
3 cars total. There's the 013, the 111, and they're showing one other car involved in this. That is right there. You look here. Take a look at that view right there. from Brad Ebel, I believe that is correct pronunciation. Go to the view. He's looking, trying to figure out where to go, and there was just nowhere.
All of a sudden, there's a UPS car right in front of him.
Yeah, and they asked the question, what can Brown do for you? Well, if you're Brad right now, it's probably get out of the way, but he just couldn't do it in time. And, you come up on these guys so quick, and fortunately, it is what it is, and now you have 3 more cars involved and another incident.
I think Brad Ebel is going to be using FedEx for the foreseeable future here, as once again, Charles, Mogart and Hogan both coming down pit road here, along with, I believe Peck came down, Tupper and Roll stayed out, but for the second caution in a row, Mogart and Hogan came down pit road there.
And it looks like this time they are taking tires, not just fuel like they topped off last time. So this time the complete opposite. 4 tires and fuel for both of them. And we'll be off and away once again. Eric Tupper in the top 4 drivers. So Donnie Fair, Cole Duggar, Brett Rolls, and Eric Tupper not coming down pit road. This time, of course, Brent Fair not faring too well. He's right now in a 10th position. He's on the pits, and he'll be there for a little bit. So this race not only getting close on time, we're getting close to not having but maybe a top 10 out on the track, as we've had quite a few cautions, and these guys are using up those fast repairs faster than they can have them.
Yeah, when you have a race like this where there's breeding cautions in the early stages, it sets up a lot of cars for some problems the rest of the day. And if they have to come down pit road multiple times, and Fair is going to decide to come down pit road into 19 to try to get up there and gain a little bit of traction. We'll see if he takes tires. Not sure how many tires most of these guys have left. Tupper leading the way, of course, in the 115. Donnie Fair pitting from 4th. We'll see if the car goes up. Yes, it does. So he's going to take some tires here in the number 19 to see if he can get back up in the mix here before this is all said and done. There he is on pit road. Car's number 19 on the ticker, but it says Outlaw on the side, and that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen on a race car.
Yeah, it definitely is, and he's not the only one. I believe Will Duvall's car looks similar to that one, as it is part of that Outlaw Motorsports team, sporting the LSR TV logo on it, of course. And there's another one sitting in, I believe, I'm not sure what position that is. That is going to be the 11 of Cole Duggar. And you can see a little bit different there, but also sporting LSR TV. And, of course, the other series, or the other channel, I would say, that covers some World of Thunder's race, which is, of course, Ultimate Dirt TV. So if you like dirt racing, you can check them out on Sunday for the World of Thunder stuff. Of course, the Wednesday series covered here on LSR TV. So again, make sure you check out the rest of the World of Thunder stuff. Lights are on at the moment, I should say. So we're gonna step away one last time, hopefully for the last commercial break of the night, and we'll be right back.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
Welcome back, race fans. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are set to get the green flag one more time. Pace car dives off. And a green flag is, well, there it is. Green flag finally out. 115 of 167. Greg, what do you think the odds are of finishing this race under green?
That race made it, or that last caution there, Charles, made that a very difficult task because we are about 15 minutes from the end, and we're only on lap 115. I don't think we're going to get there. We're just going to have to click away as many laps as we can to see if we get there. Ooh, side by side, third. Hogan and Mogart. Here we go again.
Yeah, we got the time up there as it's winding down again. They've got to be very, very close. There's, roughly 40-ish to 50 laps left in this race. Somebody forgot to tell them as they're 3 wide. Mogart says, boys, we're running out of time. I'm just going to take this spot here. I'm going to take that spot there. And he's trying to put Brett Rolls in that Ritz number 17 back one position. We haven't talked about this, Greg. If we start getting really close to time, how much more aggressive are these drivers going to get?
You're going to see them tear it up now because they know they're racing the time and laps. We got 50 to go on the board this time by lap count wise, but we are inside 20 minutes to go here in the time limit, so you're going to be wanting to click off as many as you possibly can. If this thing stays green, I think we're going to come up about 10 laps short, so you're just going to want to go and get as far ahead as possible because you know if another caution comes out, that's really going to hinder you. Here comes Mogart back inside of Tupper, and just like that, the two strongest cars, Hogan and Mogart, 1-2 once again.
Yeah, and it wasn't this lap they're on, but the lap before. Hogan, who I said had been really fast on the long run, he just ran a 28.55, the fastest lap of the race on a restart. So makes you wonder if he's just been conserving a little bit, in the early stages of this race, and he really had a good short run car as well. Because right now, he's definitely ahead by about 0.6 of a second. The question is Mogart going to run him down, and how hard is Hogan pushing this car to stay ahead of Mogart in case we do run out of time?
Yeah, he's going for it now. Mogart trying to reel in Hogan. Meanwhile, how about Gary Peck? He has gotten the third now as he's gotten around both Tupper and Duggar that lap. So Gary Peck, a nice solid run up in the top three. Now the question is, can Mogart close in on Hogan? He's in the slipstream, which is how Hogan was able to chase him down last time. And with these two on the freshest tires, they're going to try to wheel it here. So can Mogart get back up there?
It's a definitely question we have to keep an eye on. And right now we're watching the battle between the 11 and the 17. Brett Rolls and Cole Duggar. And at this time, there it is, he can't decide what he wants to do. I believe he's in the pit. Brad Ebel going to have some issues there connection-wise. We have 5 drivers in the pits and roughly about 12 to 15 or so that are out of this race. Only 12 drivers on track right now. The good news for them is that will help eliminate the cautions, but it's not completely unheard of to see a single car spin.
We have seen a couple of those already here tonight, as these drivers just trying to click laps away and try and get as many as they can before we have an issue. Here to seal this one as Hogan leading the way, Mogart in second. Gary Peck is not going away either, Charles. He's hanging back there just off of the back of Mogart, about a second there. He's going to be able to catch the slipstream, and he might be able to make this a 3-car battle before the end of it, but Mogart is closing in on Boyd Hogan.
He is indeed. And we also keep in Devin Lockridge coming back out of the pits now. He did what he could do to repair damage on that car, and he is back out on the track. And that's going to be an issue for the leaders here soon. I think we'll see some lap cars becoming issues that are back on track, as Cole Duggar currently just passed Brett Rolls for P5. So we'll keep an eye on this. This really is the battle going on right now. And if we're going to see another caution, Greg, I have a feeling it's going to come from here in between Tupper, Duggar, Rolls, and Gatsky.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to see how this battle unfolds here. Remember, that's the battle for 5th on back to 8th right now as Rolls putting pressure on Duggar for that 5th and final spot in the top 5. And remember how we talked, Wesley, earlier about at one point the top 3 were in the top 3 in the race had all started outside the top 10. Look at what's going on now. Now in the top 5, only one car started outside of the top 10. And that was Mogart, who is in 2nd. You go from 6th on back to 10th. All 5 of them started outside the top 10. Only 2 started inside the top 20. So definitely quite the interesting race, comers and goers throughout the course of it. And we are setting up for a battle here as Mogart is closing in. It's down to 0.3 of a second over Hogan next time by. We'll see what it is. A little bit quicker for Hogan that lap.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, Hogan and Mogart, obviously the classes of the field here tonight. Time is still clicking away here. We'll pull it back up on the screen. An hour 52 of 208. Time is going to run out before this race comes to an end. So I'm not sure it's been a long time, Greg, since we've had the protocol actually being used for time expiring. If I am correct, they throw the white flag once time expires. When the leader comes to the line, it will be white flag issued. Next lap is checkered flag, I believe, is the issue. I'm not sure on that. Again, I don't know if you've seen it in a while, but it has been a long time since I've seen iRacing have to use the time protocol.
It's either that or they go 2 to go when the leader crosses the strike. It's either the white flag or 2 laps. I can't remember which one it is.
Well, we'll definitely have to find out. Obviously not going to be able to find out here tonight until the race comes to that point. Right now, again, about 10 minutes left to go on lap 130 of 167. I don't think we're going to make it. I think that window of making it has come to an end. So these guys are on different strategies here tonight. Again, you go from, tire strategy, fuel strategy. Now it is get where I need to go and do it on a time strategy. And like I said, I knew Hogan had the long green flag run car. I think he may have been holding back a little bit because he has definitely got a short run car here as he came out of the gate, and he has started pulling away now from Mogart.
It went up 0.4 of a second the last time by there, Charles. So unbelievable lap there from Boyd Hogan. Mogart may have had a problem of some kind because he lost 0.4 of a second, and he now has to work hard to get back up there. Hogan has gained a second in the last few laps. It was down to 0.3 of a second for a bit there. Now it's back up to 1.3. So Hogan definitely has the long run speed in that number 90. Looking very stout here in the closing stages.
Yeah, definitely. And the closest battle on track right now is Eric Tupper and Cole Duggar, and even then it's 7/10 away from each other. So these guys have really spread out. Devin Lockridge is going to gain 1 spot over Brad Ebel here for 14th position, but of course he's still 27 laps down, so that's not going to be much of a contention for the battle, or for the lead. Unfortunate, Lockridge just has not had the day he needed here to put it together, but could we potentially see Hogan and Mogart get together if we see a caution? Or I don't think it's going to happen under green, but if then two get together, your next man in line is Peck, and Peck has had a good run.
And Charles, can I throw something else in here, guys? I just got back and I'm seeing what is the finale of this event. Again, I told you I'd be back. I'd take care of what I had to go with these internet issues and hopefully get them resolved is what we've done. We want to put on a caliber broadcast, Charles, in your name for LSR TV, and that's the reason why I bowed out. But, you know, this will be the first race of the Monday Night Cup Series, Charles Wooten, that we've covered of the 3 on LSR TV and the first 2 of the season of World of Thunder, where there has not been a time limit made. I do not think possibly these drivers can go the complete distance. So this race is more or less going to be called on time unless they get some kind of rocket jetpack in the back of these cars at the last minute virtually and can pull some kind of an upset, Charles. We will see a race be decided by the time constraints.
Yeah, it's we've been talking about that for a couple of laps now, but yeah, the time is going to run out here. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Again, Duggar's still having a good battle, or at least as good as you can get here. He's trying to get by Eric Tupper. You know, the one I really thought was going to see good here tonight. Well, some of these guys like Cody McKnight back here, and you know, I want to point out to Greg, Trey Smith, I did not even know he was in here, but he is a actual real-life sprint car driver that races in Texas. I did not even see him in the race until just now.
Interesting. So you never know who's going to show up here in a race on LSR TV here in the World of Thunder series. So it has been a roller coaster of a day for several drivers, and unfortunately he only made it about 15 laps or so. So tough right there for Trey Schmidt, but did make it in. Unfortunately not the way he wanted it to go.
Yeah, definitely not the way he wanted it. And again, from 16th down to 29th, those drivers are out of the race and have packed it up, minus the 24 and the 26. And actually, we know they're running race control. So they're still in here, but they technically are out of the race. 16th down to 29th out of this race here tonight. But we haven't talked about this driver too much. That is Cody Gatsky in that 27 machine. You know, he really hasn't had a terrific day, but he's still inside the top 10. We really just haven't talked about him a whole lot, but he is in 7th and having a fairly decent day considering he is 20 spots up from where he started.
On the lead lap too, only 9 drivers on the lead lap. So if you're on the lead lap by this point of this race, the way this has gone, that's an accomplishment all in itself. So Cody Gatsky with a nice run, 7th place, 13 seconds back right now. So not going to be able to contend for it here unless we get another caution, but great recovery for him. How about Ted Emmenizer in the number 26 as well here, Charles? In 9th place right now. We haven't seen much of him after the incident early after leading on the restart, but he is hung out on the lead lap now in 9th position. Nice recovery for him. He's got about a straightaway right now over Boyd Hogan, who's just picking him up and putting him down right now. It's up to 3 seconds over Mogart with just a few minutes left in the time limit. So it'll be quite interesting to see how Emmenizer can hang on, if he can hang on to it. But a nice recovery for Emmenizer as well.
Yeah, definitely. Been a good race. You know, and I want to point out too, something we haven't talked about as we go back up to our leader real quick. Look at the flags here. The Canadian of Boyd Hogan dominating this race. I didn't realize it until just now. He is the only Canadian driver in this series, and we did get word that he is actually a driver for, I believe it was Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, I believe he's a member of the Junior Motorsports E-Team. So, you never know who's going to show up here in an iRacing broadcast. And Boyd Hogan leading the way right now, 3.6 seconds over Mogart last time. And that was 0.6 seconds stronger than the previous. Let's see what it is this time as he crosses the strike. Mogart coming across, gains another 10th. But just a few minutes left in the time limit. We're clicking laps away, but yeah, we're not going to be able to make it the scheduled 167.
Yeah, you see right there, 1:59 is officially coming up on the 2-hour mark. Again, it is just physically, mathematically impossible to complete this race in 8 minutes. At roughly 2 laps a minute, it's just not going to happen. So it's unfortunate, but the time limit wins here. So who does that mean wins the race? Does does Hogan win this race, or since time's running out, does the track win the race?
I think the track wins the race, but Hogan would get credit for the victory. But it's 4.1 seconds now, Charles, and growing more and more every single lap. So it has been quite the show for Boyd Hogan. He had to earn it here earlier in the race, battling with Mogart, but it is wild between Hogan and Mogart middle of the race. But now, late in the race, Hogan has checked out.
Yeah, and getting a word there that we are actually, we're at 2 hours and 2 minutes. Our clock showing 2 hours and 1 minute. So put us right about 2 hours and 3 minutes. So apparently it's probably going off of my time here in the office, which is about 2 minutes slow apparently. So we are actually even closer than we thought on time. So if it says 2:01 on the clock, it's actually 2:03. So we are definitely coming in on time. Still the closest battle, Greg, is between Gary Peck and Eric Tupper, and those actually are starting to pick up. As it was 7/10, now it's 5/10.
Yeah, Tupper is closing in the 15, trying to track down the anagram of him, 5'11". So trying to reel him in here. This is the battle for the third and final spot on the podium as well, Charles. And by my math, if what we were talking about holds true, I think we're about 8 or 9 laps away from the checker flag here. So we'll see how it unfolds, because the laps are clicking away, but the seconds are ticking away faster.
Yeah, they are clicking away quickly. Again, it's going to be, like you said, about 10 laps short here of the distance. And we'll know. Just keep an eye on the top left of your screen. You see right there, it is green. That is indicating the green flag is out. It will switch to white here shortly, I do believe. So obviously we know it's going to be a 1 to 2 lap shootout. But the green flag is out. So again, keep a very, very close eye on that. And we're starting to see some more battles come into play. Here is Cole Duggar maybe trying to push it as hard as he can, and he has cut it to under a second now to Eric Tupper. So now Cole Duggar getting back into the mix.
Trying to get up and just gain as many spots as you know. These drivers know that the time limit is approaching, so they know that they're running out of time to try to get a spot here, as we're not going to reach the scheduled distance. Boyd Hogan is up to a 6-second lead now over Jared Mogart.
Can I come back in here, guys, and join you as we bring this to the finish? First off, Greg, thank you. I appreciate you carrying this thing to the end. Charles, I know the people that were in place as I had to leave were going to do a caliber job. But my question is this to you, Charles Wooten. Is this season coming down as we move into week 6, the Hogan-Mogart series, like we've seen in Cup with Harvick and Hamlin?
I don't think so. We've seen some other people that just have had issues here tonight and in the past week. I don't think I can honestly say it's their show to take away with. I just think with the amount of cautions, some drivers have been caught up in stuff that wasn't necessarily their fault. And I think we'll see, once the cautions start fading away, I think we'll see some drivers come into the front that might not have been there these last couple of weeks.
What do you think, Greg, since it's your first time seeing the World of Thunder Monday Night Cup Series here on LSR TV?
I think it's going to be shaken up between those two here throughout much of the series so far. Hogan and Mogart have been the class of the field all day, and it seems like that's been the case all season.
Definitely have to see, of course, myself regularly talking to these drivers here. Well, in a few minutes, we would say in a few laps, but it will be a few minutes. According to my clock anyway, we're at the 2-minute 5 mark, which would put us at the 2-minute 7 mark, according to the iRacing official timer, who's either their watch is a little fast, Greg, or mine's a little slow. Makes you wonder which one is correct. I think mine may be a little slow.
Well, the official time clock in the server just hit 2:08, so we'll see if the white flag comes out this time for Boyd Hogan.
He crosses the line. No white flag yet, so makes you wonder if that's the case. Then potentially, we'll see it.
We should be seeing the white flag here any minute.
Yeah,
there's 12 laps to go officially.
Yeah, we definitely know whether it was 208 there or 208 or 206 here, they're not going to make the 12 laps. And he crosses one more time. And right about now, we have, according to mine, we're at 206 here, according to the LSR TV timer, and according to the iRacing timer. You know, it's kind of like waiting for Christmas right now, Greg. Which one is right? You know, you're getting your present, but you don't know which timer to go by.
Don't know which one to choose here as we continue to clip laps away. It's 10 now, so the trophy can pretty much now be engraved with Boyd Hogan's name, and it's just a matter of how far can we go.
It is indeed, and while this is going on, we do have this going on as Cole Duggar finally caught Eric Tupper. He does get by him as they're coming up on 10 laps to go, and of course 10 laps to go, and Hogan has a 10-second lead on top of that. So we'll just keep, again, updating you as to what's going on. Again, iRacing timer has expired according to that. Our timer showing right now about 30 seconds left to go. So according to our calculations, we should see green this time by, and we could see the white flag coming out, not this lap, but next lap if our calculations are correct. And next time by, we should see it as we're at 20 seconds to time expiring for the race, which is sad, Greg, because we're going to be about 7 laps short.
Yeah, and it really is a shame because things really started to settle down there in the second half, and we're getting so close there to being able to get this race in. We'll see if the white flag comes out this time.
Nope, checkered flag.
Yep,
there it is.
Checkered flag, yep.
Mogart and Peck are still battling for second. This battle just started picking up. It's going to be a drag race to the end. Mogart going to hang on to second, barely over Peck, as we come into this race 8 laps short to the distance.
Tough break, but good finish there for second between Mogart and Peck. It was a wild one there for second, and an up and down day here at Texas for race number 1 of our doubleheader on LSR TV. But the win going to the Junior E Motorsports driver Boyd Hogan in the number 96, and it is a dominating one. Margin of victory 11.2 seconds here, Charles.
Yeah, that was a big gap. Not as much between second and third, as Mogart and Peck going to be separated by 0.02 seconds. But that is neither here nor there, as right now you're going to see your race winner burn it down. And if anybody by some freak chance is just tuning in with us here before me and Greg head over to the post-race show, no, that is not inaccurate. It says lap 161 of 167. That is accurate. Time expired here for tonight's race, and hard lick. We'll be seeing more of that later tonight as well. Between some drivers, I don't know if that was just a friendly gesture or if he is upset with him, but I don't think he'd be upset with the leader. But either way, Greg, any quick thoughts before we head over to talk to some of these drivers here in the post-race show?
Just a dominant performance by Boyd Hogan. Led much of the early race. Looked really good there for a minute between him and Mogart. But coming up short was Mogart as, boy, the second half, Boyd Hogan was just untouchable.
And remember, Charles, Boyd Hogan, second win of the season. He's now a 2-time winner of the Monday Night Cup Series presented by World of Thunder.
Well, we'll be talking to him here in just a moment, as we'll be right back with your Clan Wars server post-race show coming up in just a few moments. Welcome back, race fans. Once again, here to LSR TV as we're in the closing bit here for LSR TV. Before we sign off and get Monty Greg's final thoughts, we, of course, need to have a chat with your top 3 drivers here in the Clan Wars server post-race show. Clan Wars servers, the official communication partner of LSR TV. And I have caught up with Gary Peck in 3rd place here tonight. Gary, you had a good run. 1 spot plus from where you started in 4th. And there at the end, a good run between you and Jared Mogart. The question is, what did you need to get by Jared there? As you definitely reeled him in from quite a ways in 3rd place.
Honestly, it was just my driving. I had to change up the style that I was running and where I was running. Whenever I arced the corner, I couldn't get the car to stay stable, so I entered a little bit lower, and it felt 10 times better and could run them down.
Well, a different race here, and we're going to kind of talk to each driver about it. You come into this race, was it a tire strategy because you had limited tires, a fuel strategy, and at what point in this race did it potentially change to, we're going to run out of time, I better go on a time strategy?
Honestly, it was, I wouldn't say a fuel or tire, it was more time than anything. Especially whenever we got down to the last 50 and there's, 30 minutes left or so, we knew we would run out. But in the beginning, it was played out as a tire strategy, and towards the end, it just went to time. So, and that last green flag run there, it was time to go.
Well, you definitely had a good run here. 3rd place finish, +1 from where you started in 4th position. Quickly give a chance here to shout out the sponsors that make it all possible for you.
Yeah, I can't thank Boyd Hogan enough. Legacy Esports, Abruzzi, and thanks for the run, and it was fun. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, again, congrats on third place, and I believe Greg Rentz has caught up with Jared Mogart in your second position down on pit road.
Yeah, Jared Mogart, Greg Rentz, RTV, got a copy.
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, Jared, up and down battle for you here today, leading laps and battling with Boyd Hogan for a majority of the race. And tell us about, first off, just that battle with Boyd through much of the race there, because for a good chunk of it, you guys were dead even.
Yeah, we had a good run again this week. You know, we started out a little bit better than him, and then after about 10 laps there, he got better and better and drove away from us same as last week. But it was fun to battle with him. We're learning a little bit. We got a little bit more work to do on our setups to get it where it needs to be in the long run to even hang with them, let alone be a little bit better than him. But it was still a good run.
Well, Jared, we asked Gary about it, and we'll ask you as well. The strategy coming into play, and especially with you and Boyd kind of on the same strategy there at the end, pitting on those last two cautions, once for tires, once for not. With those extra 4 sets on pit road, what was the strategy going in, and did you have to change your strategy on the fly with how long the race taking?
Yeah, I had a plan, you know, with the tires right on the start, and then obviously we know how the race went. So when we had about 100 laps or 110 laps to go with like 59 minutes, everybody's strategy kind of switched to racing the clock a little bit there. So I just tried my best to do what Boyd did, or try to get on a little bit different tire strategy to maybe beat him on tires. But there, we just kind of synced up, and we ended up coming home second.
All right, well, a long one here at Texas, but next week it is an entirely different form of racing. Bristol coming up next week for some short track racing, so an entirely different form of racing here, but another track that just seems to fall right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We always race well there. I'm not a big fan of it, but we seem to race well there. So the plus side of things is the caution laps will be a hell of a lot shorter than they were tonight. So hopefully we can beat Boyd, if not finish second to him again, and see how it goes, I guess.
All right, well, second place here after a win at Phoenix last week. So another chance for you to give some shout out to the guys that make it possible. So let's hear them.
Yeah, Ben at Mercury Central, Tricky Race Reports, I buy Power Computers, DRS setups. Got some work to do with them. All aboard the Maxo Sim Racing Network, and you guys for the broadcast, everybody for putting on the league, and congrats to Boyd on the W again.
All right, that is second place, Jared Mogart. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I believe Charles has made his way down to victory lane to catch up with a guy who really turned it up there in the last half of the race, Boyd Hogan.
I have indeed, sitting in victory lane, and we had to catch up with him before he went off and got that chicken dinner, and maybe some extra tenders on it for a dominating performance here, at least in the closing half. First off, congrats on the win, Boyd. The second question I got for you, or first technical question, is was the car better on the long run or the short run, or really was it just overall good all around and you were just waiting for your moment to start pulling away from this field?
It was better on the long run for sure. I didn't think I would have near as much on the short run for them as what I did. I think Jared was a little bit quicker for the first 5 or 10 of a run, so I kind of just sat behind him and let him, run at whatever pace he wanted to, and then, we usually work pretty well together. So was just kind of biding our time early on in runs, and then, obviously at the end we got the long run that we needed. We were able to capitalize.
Oh, you definitely capitalize. You get a dominating win, 11.26 seconds over second place, and roughly that over third as well. You come to Texas, it's of course no limits Texas. You had a just blistering fast car. How was the track out there, as far as drift wise? Were there any spots that gave you some issues out there, problems? Because it didn't look like it from up here in the booth.
Yeah, and Gary can kind of attest to it, as he mentioned earlier. It's you got to hit your line perfect through 1 and 2. We were a little bit loose off of 2 all day. We were really, really fast through 3 and 4. I never had to lift through there once, and I mean the car was pretty hooked up through there, but yeah, I'd say just the exit of 2, and everywhere else was just money, and as long as you managed it off of 2, you're all right.
Well, definitely a good run for you here tonight. And any sponsors on that car, anyone you got to give a shout out to for making it as fast as it is and putting you in victory lane here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to thank everybody at Legacy Esports, Bobby Earnhardt himself, everybody on Slip Angle. I mean, we've all come up with a pretty good 1.5-mile base that we've been able to take everywhere. I took it here with Gary last night and just tweaked on it a little bit. Tried getting it feeling better at Texas. Took, I mean, maybe a good hour or so, and we had a really good piece to come out with and just kept working on it throughout the race, making it better. And yeah, I mean, everybody at Slip Angle, Legacy, Judd at Abruzzi, big thank you to him. Oculus Glasses, Butt Kicker, Austin Derbyshire. I don't know if you noticed, but this is one of the nicest cars that I've ever had. And the black and gold is just it's badass, man. I love it. So shout out to him for the paint. Yeah, that's about everybody I got.
All right, well, again, congrats on the big win here tonight. Again, only led 160 laps. Only finished 160 laps, 167 that were scheduled, but still put it in victory lane. Greg, any final thoughts before we sign off here tonight?
Just a wild up and down race, Charles. It was a heck of a show between Hogan and Mogart, but at the end of the day, Hogan had that thing hooked up on the long run. The Canadian driver getting it done here in No Limits, Texas. And if you're watching at home here on LSR TV, don't go anywhere because we've got another one coming up here at Texas, coming up in about 45 minutes. Don't go away because we got another race coming up here at Texas coming soon.
And of course, we do have that race coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for it. Of course, the Northwest Cup Series back in action here in Texas, and we'll see you there in, like you said, just about 45 minutes. Until then, grab something to drink, something to snack on, and we'll see you in just a bit.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.